Alright, we just got back from camping 2 or 3 days ago, and we found some issues that we're going to have to correct in the motorhome. Now, I crawled on top of this thing. You're not going to be able to see it, but I sealed everything that I could find to seal. It was leaking way up yonder where the shower is. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway, that bubble right there, and that thing puts out a tremendous amount of light. But anyway, that was leaking, so I fixed that. We did not have any issues at all as far as leaking. All that worked out really well. But one of the things that I'm working on today, or what I'm trying to achieve today, this thing has got an electric slide out on the bottom of the door. And there is a button in here. I've got it parked in a bad place, but I wanted to. It's got a button right there. Back it up a little bit, but anyway, that operates the lights and also operates this. There's a slide out that comes out, and it actually should come out and go down, but it doesn't. But anyway, there are 4 bolts that holds that in there and some screws. And that's a jumbled up mess right now, but to give you some idea, I had to cut those bolts off because they were froze. You can see how bad it was. I'm going to put stainless steel back in it. And I've got to pull all this out and redo it also. The way it's put together is just not right. And I want to fix it where it will be right. But anyway, that's where that is what I took it out yesterday evening, and I should have videoed it, but I didn't. Maybe I can video putting it back in. Not hard to get to. It's not hard to do, but the bolts, if they weren't rusted real bad, would not have been that big a problem at all. But there are, let's see here, I get this up without mashing my fingers. You can tell this right here bolts up. I don't know if that'll stay there or not. It'd be nice if it would. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those nuts or bolts are supposed to go down in there so you can get them off, even if you have to twist them off. But they weren't down in there. They rounded off, rusted, whatever. I find a place to drop it or put it without dropping it. Let me see. But this thing right here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are rollers. This thing right here goes on this side. You can see how it's all bent up. When I went and got the camper, this slid out, and I don't know what all I hit, but anyway, I bent it all up. Like I said, I don't know if you see it or not, but I bent it all up. And I'm going to have to repair that. And this right here. Now this is the mechanism that makes it go in and out. That looks like a windshield wiper motor gear mechanism, but it's stripped. It does not work. I don't know what's broke. I hope we can find out today before I tear it all to pieces. And may have to replace it. I don't know. I don't know how it's built. I would say the gear that goes in here is stripped, but I don't know that. If it is, it's just the old ones were plastic. Now this one may be metal. But anyway, I'm going to set this thing up where maybe you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to tear into it and see if we can get it working again. Put it all back in there. It makes it nice to flip a switch where you can go in and out. It's a little bit high. That bottom step comes out a little bit too high, and I'm hoping when I get all this back together, it'll lower it some. But anyway, we'll see. Just hang in there with me. I'll be back in just a minute or two, and try to get this stuff set up where you can see what I'm doing. We'll go from there. So appreciate you. Alright, I've got this thing here, and this table is not very neat or clean, but for what I'm doing, I don't know if it would matter. I've got to clean my shop up. Like I said, we've been gone, we've been camping, so it's just like it was when I left it the other day. Alright, me. That right there has got some type of Loctite on it. That may go, we can see that or not, but that may go all the way through. It's long, I'll say that. It is. I don't know what I'm going to get into. I've never torn into one of these before. Maybe what holds it on this. I didn't think so, but it might. No, probably not. My little impact that I use for this is out in the camper. And rather than shut all this down and go out there and get it, I'm going to do it this way. Once I get into this, I may wish I hadn't. That whole thing will come off there, but I'd rather, well, that ain't nothing. That's just a brace. That is a brace to hold this arm right here. So, I've not achieved a whole lot. Wait a minute, maybe I have. Let's see if I can figure out. Well, actually, that looks good. And that looks good. So, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I hate to say so, but I don't really see nothing wrong with that. You can tell. But you can hear the motor run. That does have a whole lot of slack in it, and that may be where the problem is right there, back in here. I don't know if that'd be nice if that would come off. There is a screw out right size. So, it is the right size. Okay, it worked. It ain't this one. I got one like that, and it's stripped up in the handle. Maybe this will tell me what I need to know. I'm sure this thing is sealed. Okay, now then. Yeah, it is sealed. And I have to make sure that when I put it back together, it's resealed. That's good. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's good. The gear's good. Oh, look at there. I would not have figured that would have been plastic. And more than likely, when I hit whatever I hit, that tore the rest of that up. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that plastic gear is stripped. And probably you can't even get those anymore. Used to, you could replace those. I could probably buy that thing right there about as cheap anyway, but I'd really like to have, see, is there something here that has to come out? See if I can find my cleanest, dirtiest rag. Yeah, there it is. It's a little bitty clip, I think. Because that one right there is stripped, it won't, which makes it most frustrating. I hope you can see that. There is a small clip in there. And sometimes when that comes out, it comes out like that, and it goes halfway across the shop. Now then, let's see here. I know I've not took a breathing treatment in a long time, and I felt like I needed one. Boy, it just demolished all of that. There's 3 little bearings that goes in here, and they are gone. You used to be able to buy kits for them, but probably not anymore. Man, how come? Find a place to put my knee. I wonder, does that have another keeper on it? I don't think so. I don't recommend that you work on dirty benches. I don't. It looks like that I'm for that, but I'm not. And I got my WD-40 also out in the camper. Okay. Now then, this is wore out also. But the main thing that happened, that's worn over the years. Let me get a light here. I've got to put my lights back up. I've got them, I just ain't took time to do it. One of them round to it jobs, and I never got around to it. Alright, maybe you can see that better. You can see that is wore out. You know what's bad too? Today is Saturday, and they're not going, my places are going to be closed. Yep, they're closed. O'Reilly's is the only one that's open, and they're not going to have that, I wouldn't think. Because like I said, they used to come in kits. Can you see that? Let's see here. I don't want to order it, but it may give me a better idea what I'm up against. But anyway, I'm going to go up to the local parts store up here and see if I can find that. This right here is nothing but a windshield wiper motor. Now when I ordered this motor, it came back as a step to slide the step in and out. But I've rebuilt several of these things over the years. Now you cannot buy, they used to be able to buy the repair kit, and I'll show you. There is a clip that goes right here. Hopefully you can see that. It's a clip that goes right there. And I pull that clip out to get this off. Maybe. Yeah. Now then, as you can see, it's got those 3 ribs. And what goes in these 3 ribs, let me get this package open here, are these 3 plastic, they used to be balls, but they're not anymore. They're plastic inserts that go in there, in those 3 places, just like that. This thing right here has to fit between them. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it will go in there. Well, those 3 were bad. Of course, they were gone. I mean, they were completely eaten up, nothing but dust. And this thing right here, if I can get it out, maybe I can get it out with this. Made my plier out of me too. That will come out. There it is. messing with it, it will come out of there. If that ain't something else. See here. There you go. You can see that's got a groove bore in it. Almost all the way around. And it may have one place that's real bad, I think. Well, anyway. If you look at it, you can see it. It's worn down. So, I've got a new gear. And I don't know what to call these things. I've replaced a bunch of them before with nothing wrong with the gear. It just disintegrated those things. And as usual, I probably don't have everything over here that I need. Put that down there because that holds that on until you put the other screws in there. Now then, I'm going to take a little bit of brake cleaner. Hopefully you can see that. And spray in there. And then take my cleanest dirty rag right here. I didn't get it. Tell you what, let's take a paper towel here. That one ain't been used 2 or 3 times. I'm going to wipe that out. Good. Then I'm going to take it over where my air hose is because it ain't over here. Naturally. I'm going to blow that out. Then I'm going to grease it down. Hopefully you can see that. But what this does, it gets all that old grease out. If you can see, there is grease, old grease in there. But those threads are good. So that's steel on plastic, so you know what's going to wear. Then I'm going to smear a little bit. Really, that ain't the grease that I want, but I think that's what I've got. I did have some grease here somewhere that's a little thinner than that. That's axle grease. Not exactly what I want, but nevertheless, that's what I have. So, as you can see, the gears, I'm going to smear some of that up in there. Matter of fact, I'm going to kind of pack it up in there if I can. Hopefully you can see that. I'm bad about working without cameras, so I just want to show how this was done because so many of these things you can do if you're mechanically minded in any kind of way that you can save yourself some money. And maybe sometimes, and I'm not knocking anybody's ability, but you may maybe get it done better. I'm not knocking anybody's ability at all. Sometimes people get in a hurry. Lunch, I've done it for the public, so I'm no different than anybody else. I'm out to make mistakes like anybody else does. Make sure you don't put anything in there that ain't grease. Because I've used this grease on a lot of different things, so what gets up in there sometimes ain't all grease. But I'm going to smear it around on there real good. I've got it on this spindle. And then I'm going to put a little bit here. Not a lot, but a little bit. Just enough that when that gear starts turning, it'll smear it around on its own. Because I've got it on the gear and then on the gears too. I don't want to pack it, just put enough in there that you don't have to worry about it. Any plastic against metal. Because there's really not any pressure on it. It doesn't, and I say there's no pressure on it, there's no in and out pressure on it. It's strictly turns, that's all it does. Then, these, I keep wanting to call them balls, but they ain't, they're plastic. Then you drop one on the ground, it goes no telling where. It gets lots of dirt and stuff on it. Now there's something about this that I've never noticed before, and I don't know if there's a reason for it or not. This has got a lip on it. Got a lip on it, whether you see that or not. And I'm putting that lip down because that makes sense. If you put the lip up, it would be a lot harder to get that to line up with. Let me put a little bit of grease up in this thing right here too. Now you get that down there, you can't get it out because it's slick. When you're nervous and shaky, that don't help either. Oh, let me put it that way. Sometimes when you get old, you're a little bit shaky. Not bad. Just enough that it screws everything up sometimes. But that comes with age. You either get old or you get dead. And I don't have a big problem with getting old. This, I showed you earlier, and I'm going to wipe my hands off because that's got to be cleaned up too. Get me another piece of clean, dirty towel here. I want to spray that down. I hope you can see that. You have to watch which way that thing's pointing to, because when you push the button, it really don't care. Now this right here has got pieces of plastic, I guess, where it's kind of melted in there. And if you'll notice, there is a indenture, or whatever you want to call it, where this slides down over that. And like I said, that plastic disintegrated, is no more. Now then, put a little bit of this on that. And I don't know if this is a good idea or not, really. I do put it on. I've put it on everything that I've put it on, and I ain't had one blow up my face yet, but getting that back down in there is not impossible, but sometimes it's difficult. Because all those things have got to, see, maybe. Alright. As usual, this ain't just a very few minutes, if even a minute. This thing, I had to get a persuader. Once I tapped it, got it tapped, started down in there, it went down in there pretty easy. So this right here is exactly what was supposed to take place. Usually they're not quite that hard. I didn't want to force it and take a chance on breaking something. So this right here is a groove right there. Then that goes just like that. There's really, like I said, there's not a lot of pressure on that, but that just keeps it from sliding in and out, which it ain't going to anywhere because of that. But there's a groove. I hope you can see that. There's a groove right there for that keeper to go in. And that's what I did. I put it in that groove. This right here, there's another. This is actually a seal. You can tell it's rubberized. Well, let me do that too. Let me clean that up a little bit. These are plastic particles that come off of the old rubber pieces or plastic pieces that I put in, because it just disintegrates. Once they start coming apart, they just come apart. So I'm going to clean that off a little bit. Now, I'll tell you the same thing about my stuff that I do, that I tell my kids or my friends. This is the way I do things. That don't make it right. Sometimes it's just simple. And I like simple. When you get as old as I am, you like simple. I'm going to put a little bit of grease there and a little bit of grease right around that. Not much. Don't want to drown it, because this will probably last longer than me anyway. Alright. You see there's a dowel pin right there. That's so you can't put it on wrong here. That's for old people like me that spend a lot of time putting something together wrong. There's also a screw that goes here that you have to take off before you can tear that apart. And I say that it and also have to remember that this goes on there too, before I get in too big a hurry. Now then, that right there goes right there. Probably may not be enough light around here. I don't know. Alright. You see that screw? All that does is hold that in place while you put this together. Actually, this is going to go a little bit different than I remembered. I believe it goes that way. But you can feel them dowel pins. It keeps it from moving around. Then this piece goes on top of this. Now then, that really looks like to me, no, it don't need no gasket, never mind. That's just a cover. And then you got 3 screws. And if I remember correctly, them things unscrewed all the way out. And I think that's 5/16. I'm going to get one of them started. Now then, let me go get something that will speed the process up a little bit. See, that is a 8mm or 5/16, whichever one you prefer. And when you do this, make sure, I don't think this thing has got a slow on it, but you need to make sure that you don't get in no big hurry, because this not only holds the cover on, that's about as tight as you want them. You don't want to over tighten it at all. Now then, I'm going to skin them back, see if we've done any good. Might not have to skin them back, I don't know. We'll see. I think I've got 12 of mine. Now then, white goes to the ground, red goes to the hot. Look at that. Look at that. And all that does is reverse the polarity. Alright, that is how that operates. There's really not that much to it, even when you're old as I am, and you Can't remember much. But anyway, that's what operates that slide. I'm going to try to bring it over here if I can to kind of give you a better idea. I'm going to put this over here out of the way for right now because I'm going to need quite a bit of room here to put that step. Get this out of the way because I no longer need your service. It's up here in a way that you can see it. But this is the step. Now when this right here has got two, probably can't see them, but anyway, they got two guides that go right there. Helps that slide in and out straight. The motor mechanism goes, don't know if I get it right there where you can see it. It actually goes on the bottom. This. That mechanism, if I can find it here, goes like that. Now this right here, actually it's going to be hard to see, but this right here will slide around. Let me see if I can get this back out, and maybe that'll help. Here's my battery again. I'm probably making it really complicated. It really isn't. There ain't but 4 bolts that holds this in. 1, 2, 3, 4. They did not work. I had to cut them off with a saw. Let me see which way I'm going. Let's see here. Okay. There's a pin somewhere in here. Now you can see it better. This right here, of course you have to get it timed and all that stuff. This right here was out all the way, and this right here would line up better, but you can see it now, hopefully. There's a pin that goes in here, 4 screws that holds this on, 4 bolts that mount this to the motorhome. And then of course the wiring and all that stuff. I may try to video that also. But it's got a button on the inside. You hit that button and it will slide it out, slide it in. Not that complicated. If it was, I couldn't do it. But anyway, I'm not going to fool with that today because it's raining outside. But I think I will go ahead and put the bolts in. That way maybe this thing won't be sliding around so bad. Let's see here. But anyway, I'm not going to video that, but I'm going to put these things in. I don't know what you call them, but anyway, just lets it slide out straight and fall down like it's supposed to. And I got a screw right there that didn't come out too that I need to get out. But that's all there is to it. Hopefully you got something out of this. Maybe this will help you. Like I said, when I took this out, I had to cut the bolts because they were froze. I'm going to put stainless steel back in it. Not that I hope I never have to pull this again, but if I do, it won't be as hard. That'll keep it from rusting. And what I've done over here, this is a 99 Ultra Supreme by Gulfstream. And it's an old camper, but it's a good camper. And what I've done, I've knocked all this out here loose. And when I went and got it, it's been a year ago probably, I've explained that the mechanism that operates the step, the bottom step comes out and then you step off of it, was no good. It was stripped out. So it came out and there were several cones down through there, and I hit a couple of them and I bent all this up. And what I've done, you can see I've took the floorboard out, or I took all this wood out. And don't ask me how I'm going to get it back in there, because I ain't sure. But I do know it's got to go back in there. The only reason I got it, only way I got it out is because this was dropped out. So I may have to do a little bit of trimming or whatever to get it back in there, but it's got to go back in there. That's 99% of any job, is knowing it's got to go a certain way. You can tell it's really a little bit rotten, not bad. I mean, that wood's still pretty good. But anyway, I'm going to crawl in underneath there on this side. I've already ground it off and got it smooth and got it beat back up in there like it's supposed to be. And there's a busted piece right here that I'm going to have to deal with. But that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to try to get underneath here without breaking my neck. When you're old and stiff, it's tough. Now then, let's see here if I can get this to cooperate. Now, people that do this for a living have a much better maybe I'm back again. I don't know. I think I am. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I can hold this and do that at the same time. You can tell right up through here, that's all busted. All that busted loose. Now the other side's still okay. And I've got a little bit of beating to do right up in this corner. But I'm going to spot weld that down through there. And I'm going to end up welding the whole thing, but I'm just going to do it a little bit at a time. Because there's a piece of wood on top that I'm going to make sure I don't burn up or catch on fire. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spot weld that. And then this right here, you can see it's in a world of hurt. It's busted. Now, I think that's been busted. I really do. I don't think I've done it, but anyway, I'm gonna do my best to fix that if I can. I've been on it all morning. But we'll see. When I get done with it, I'll come back and show you what I've done, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty. Be back in a minute. Alright, I hope that thing is on. I can't tell. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Don't do as I do, do as I say do. don't think that's working very well. All right, we're in Arkansas. You know you're in Arkansas when the sun shines and it rains. You can see by the trees out here, it just quit just a minute or two ago. But anyway, I want to go out here and show something that I forgot to do the other day. I did finish this step, and I wanted to show you. There it is. And I did this before, but I lost my video. I couldn't find it. But you can see it comes out, goes back in. That works real well. Now I've got junk all in here.